Hey, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius on Charles, because today's the 11th of April, 2023. So, yep, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, review the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. And this material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. So, yeah, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear here for a little bit and then we can resume. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. So, yep, you can check out our different deals, different trading conditions, which I believe you can find them useful. So, yep, check out our different tools that we have here. So yeah, I believe, like I said, I believe you can find some useful stuff here. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can always drop us an email or just get in touch with our customer support or even get in touch with me, guys. So yeah, if you have any questions about our platform here, so check us out. But yeah, guys, look, without further ado, let's jump into the charts. So the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So the futures, by the way, I'm looking, all my indices here are the futures. So yeah, we have the cash indices as well. You can check those out. But I just kind of started off with the futures already, so I'm going to stick to them. So it's all kind of almost the same. So yeah, Nikkei 225. Look, we pushed above my target, the 27,863. I talked about it, and yeah, that's great. In a way, kind of opening the door towards higher levels. But as I said before, I'm going to aim for this downside line first, taken from the high of the 8th of March. As long as we stay above this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, I will continue aiming higher, but only up until this downside line. In a way, like I said, then we'll have to just kind of reevaluate things again to see if actually this is gonna, not end up being a squeeze of some sort. Let's say we'll, so that we wouldn't see this one drifting back down here and blah blah blah. So look, at this point, I would say yes, I'm cautiously bullish within this pattern, but with up to this downside line. So only up until there. And if we do clear it, great, I'll go higher. The Chinese 50, the FTSE's China 50 index. So we're seeing a bit of a decline. And okay, look, we did get some data from China today, this morning. So we got their inflation numbers. So the month and year on year on a for the month of March. So yeah, all of them declined. And look, what's interesting is that the month was expected to go from minus 0.5 to plus 0.2. Well, it actually came out lower than the forecast. I mean, above the previous number, but lower than the forecast, and it came out at minus 0.3. Now with the year-on-year number, the expectation was to come out for the same 1%, but actually it fell. It fell below 1%. It went to 0.7. So last time, let me just quickly double check. I think last time we were below 1% was back in February, March of 2022. So yeah, that's quite interesting, to be honest. And we have been declining in a way. If we just look at the graph of the of the year-on-year CPI, Chinese CPI, then yeah, it peaked in October of last year, or actually, I would say it was, yeah, the number came out in October, but it was the September's number. So September number peaked, and then since then we were kind of on a slide, and yeah, continue to drift lower. So this is going to be quite interesting to see how everything goes, and of course how the whole kind of interest rate going to get affected with that. But it seems like that the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, might just kind of hold on any increases in interest rates. So yeah, just kind of at the moment, I think they're quite fine in that sense. But again, I think that it will be interesting to see if suddenly the rhetoric doesn't change and doesn't, for example, the PBOC suddenly switches to kind of into saving the economy from deflation. But again, it may be a little bit too early for that, but again, let's see how that's going to play out, of course. And looking at the index here, look, I talked about it yesterday. I said that, hey, if you're looking for some lower or higher levels, basically for the downside, I need to see a drop below the 13,096, and for the upside, a push above the 13,419 territory would be needed. So basically, we are near my lower target here, but again, I need that confirmation break in order to go lower. At this point, I'm just observing the price action, and then I'm going to take it from there. ASX 200, boom, there we go, lying higher. So look, first of all, this Fibonacci needs to go. Didn't really go all the way to that 23.6, but that's okay. But the thing is that this area kind of worked out, I would say, because look, what I said before, that if we stay above it, then yes, then I'm going to continue targeting the upside, but I'll get more comfortable with higher levels if we do push above this 7,293 territory, which was the previous highest point of April. And look at this, we have a nice we had a nice move here. We had a nice breakout. This confirmed the forthcoming higher high, and this is where we're currently getting a hold up near that 7,331. I talked about that level as well. I think now it's time to push this highlighted zone right here. This is what I'm going to be keeping a close eye on, and if I want to go further north, I need to see a clearance, a nice good clearance of this barrier. And not only that, I would like to see the index staying above this area. So long story short, look, I'm still kind of leaning towards the upside, but I need to see the daily candle, the body of the daily candle, staying above this territory in order to go further north, because at this point we have reached quite a significant area of resistance. Let's see if it can fall, if it can surrender to the bulls. If it can, great. Next target is the 7,395, and then we'll take it from there. If this territory continues to provide resistance, well, of course, this kind of potentially opens the door towards some lower levels, and this is where a few readjustments have to be made. So first things first, I'm going to mark this little target right there, this low, the low of the 6th of April. And if we want to consider a move to the downside, I believe that this is going to be a bit of a better area to watch. This level here, the 7,260. Look, I'm going to keep it for now. I mean, I really like it, but I think I'm being very biased towards it. So look, I'm going to keep it for now, but I would prefer to see it drop below the 7,217 territory in order to go to the downside. For the upside, as I said, the same. Yeah, I need to see a clearance of this area, and then we'll go from there. Nifty 50. So, okay, look, I talked about this one as well recently, and I said keep your eyes on this 17,867, which could provide a bit of resistance. I'm also actually going to be keeping a close eye on this little hurdle here. So look, you can see the 17,814 did act as a good area of resistance already. So that's the high of the 10th of March. Although I have my highest point of March here as a target. If in general, I would say this way, if this territory continues to somehow provide resistance, well, then, yeah, maybe a bit of a retracement here, and this arrow could play out nicely. Look, I need to clear up the chart. This arrow needs to go. I'll keep this for now, for kind of later usage. But look, at this point, keeping an eye on this key resistance barrier. In general, we are on a lot of indices, we are near some key resistance barriers, and especially the Asian indices, like yeah, like ASX 200. Nikkei is just coming up closer to that, so you know, this one's kind of actually leaning more towards the downside. Let's see if it can, I don't know, if it can drag the other Asian indices, you know, lower. But at this point, I would say, although I still like the upside scenario, I am just kind of being cautious right now, and because we are near this key resistance area. If we clear it and we stay above it, I'll go further north. The S&P 500. So, the S&P 500, yeah, looking at the picture here, so far so good. Look, I mean, I talked about this recently. I said that keep your eyes on this upside support line taken from the low of the 13th of March. We are, yeah, it's providing fantastic support so far, and yeah, if you want to go higher, basically just kind of continue, you know, observing the price action here, and keep your eyes on this little hurdle, this 4,168. I talked about it. I think I need to remove this arrow here for a little bit. It's just a little bit in the way. I think I'll make it a little bit shorter. Let me just put this in the chart. So there we go. And yeah, so look, if you want to go higher, then my ideal scenario is from around here. All this territory right there, although we are above the upside support line, yes, but I would still, you know, I'm going to keep an element of the doubt here. But if we start clearing this highlighted zone right there, the upper one, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with the upside. But the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere below this 4,096 territory. And as I mentioned yesterday, this area, I mean, this whole highlighted zone, I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. This is going to be my, let's say, these are going to be my levels here. If we do fall below the 4,096, I'm going to aim, well, for these, for the 4,082, 73s, or 74, 55 here, 4,055, because here I'm basically aiming to anything still above the 50-day EMA, or in general, I'm going to be, ideally, I would like to see a test of that 50-day EMA, but again, you know, the market doesn't always give me what I want, so, you know, that's why I will remain careful here with the downside scenario for now. Look, if we break the upside line, I am still on the neutral side, because again, this upside line, by the way, it's although on one hand it looks interesting, on the other hand, we have to admit that it's a little bit on the tentative side. So that's why just kind of, you know, don't focus on it too much, because if, let's say, we break the upside line and we drift lower, but then we find good support near this 4,096 territory, then we rebound, push back up, basically we're just going to confirm a nice wide range. So that's why this upside line might not end up, you know, working well. But for now, it seems to be doing the job. So until it's working, let's keep it on the chart. So Nasdaq 100, guys. So yeah, look, very interesting developments here. I mean, I talked about this. We have, we're in the futures here. We're trading near this downside line, taken from the, from the high of the 31st of March. So in a way, everything's kind of still looking quite positive, although yeah, we're still below the downside line, but still somewhat positive. I think that, look, in general, if I want to go higher, I rather wait for a push somewhere above this 13,220 territory and then go higher. Because at this point, yes, if we break the downside line, okay, great. But if we break the 13,220 territory and stay above it, then yes, I will go further north. But by further north, I'm only targeting some of these levels right there. Not something radical here, you know, way too high. But yeah, let's go step by step on this one. For the downside, look, for the downside, the 12,950 territory still valid. Because again, as you can see, yesterday we saw a good support here in the futures, and yeah, it pushed back up. So look, in general, if you want to go to the downside, I would suggest to wait for maybe a drop below this hurdle, below that 12,950 territory, and then move you know, move south, but only up until the 50-day EMA initially. If we clear that one, great, we can go further south, but you know, but initially just kind of let's keep that in mind. Let me clear up the charts from a few lines here. I'm gonna remove, yep, some of them. This one has to go. I think, yeah, the rest are okay. So just tidy up the chart a little bit. My little OCD. Okay, guys. So yeah, so that's the situation with DAX. Again, let's wait and see. Let's see what's gonna happen here. But again, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside right now. But again, let's we need a clearance. We need a clearance, and I'm waiting for that one. And of course, look, what could happen in a way right now, because the big event is on tomorrow, because we get the US CPI numbers, which is going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen there. Because again, if you have looked at the Fed Watch tool, you can see that now we are at 70% off for the 25 basis point rise in May. So again, of course, don't get me wrong, all this is going to continue changing. Let's say if the inflation number comes out, let's say much lower at the moment, let me just double check what's the expectation for now. This week, let me just quickly check that one. So yeah, the current expectation for the headline CPI number, the year-on-year one, is for a drop from 6% to 5.2. The core year-on-year figure is expected to go from 5.5 to 5.6 actually, and a little increase. Well, okay, look, let's see how that's going to play out. I mean, if we actually come out near the or say the same as expected, let's say on the year-on-year, the headline year-on-year, then we could still see, although it would be a lower number than the previous, but actually would be in line with expectations. So in a way, the market is already kind of adjusting to that. So so maybe we could see the market actually rallying, although it's a lower number. You know, and well, not although, but it is a lower number. It's actually favorable for the market because again, there's no increase there. But yeah, if we could see the market actually popping higher if the number comes out lower. But of course, let's wait and see, you know, what's going to happen there. And a good indicator right now, you know, that is the crypto world, but I'll get to that in a bit. But look, here from the technical perspective on the Nasdaq 100, I'm still waiting for that push above the 13,220 zone. The German index, there we go, pushed above the 15,815 zone, right? Okay, look, if we continue to trade above it, I'm going to go higher. Simple as that. My next target is the psychological 16,000 mark. Look, I'm going to spend too much time talking about this. It's a very simple approach here that I'm taking. We got a clearance of my level here, the 15,815, so that's great. So if we stay above it, then yes, I will go further north towards my 16,000 mark, and then maybe a little bit higher. For the downside, I need to see, ideally, I would like to see a drop below this 15,500 territory, but I think that maybe we could already start looking at some lower levels on a drop below the 15,627 zone, approximately around here. This will confirm, you know, will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could then aim a little bit lower. The dollar index. So this one's quite interesting because again, we have broken the downside line. I talked about it yesterday. So at the moment, I would say, okay, look, everything's looking quite positive, somewhat positive, but we're getting a bit of a decline right now. So let me just get rid of this downside line, no longer needed. This downside line so far is doing a good job. So what I'm actually considering maybe is to see a push, further push north here, maybe to test this downside line, and then, you know, see what's going to happen with the CPIs tomorrow, because I think that the, you know, today will be something of a wobbly day. Maybe somewhere we'll see some one-way traffics, basically maybe lower volatility, but jumping into tomorrow, that's when maybe the whole excitement could come in. So let's wait and see, guys. So, but yeah, if look, so far from the technical perspective, my idea is working out here. What I said before, that if we push above the 101.72 territory, I will aim towards this downside line, taken from the high of the 24th of March, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, well, look, ideally, I would like to see a drop below the 101.09 territory, but if we do fall somewhere below this hurdle, actually, let me just put this on the chart here. So if we do fall somewhere below this 101.55, maybe actually we could start looking at some lower levels. And maybe this could open the door towards the current lowest point of April, or maybe even towards the current lowest point of this year. But again, for that, I need to see at least a drop somewhere below this 101.55 territory. Now jumping into gold, guys. So this one is beautiful. Look at how well that's 19 and 90 territory is playing out. So yesterday I talked about it. We fell briefly below it. Look at this. And then we retraced back to the upside and we moved higher. And basically now, yeah, it's holding. It's providing a good support here. Let me just put this on the chart. There we go. So, yep. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, look, this territory, I'm still keeping an eye on it, this 1990 zone. If we fall below this, I will consider a move towards the lower side of the rising channel where we're currently sitting in. But what I said to you previously, that if we do push back above this 2003 zone, somewhere around here, maybe I'll start, yeah, considering the upside, but I'll get a little bit more excited with that idea if we do push back above the 2010 zone right here. If we do climb above it, I will go towards the upside here, towards the upper bound of the rising channel. In general, guys, I mean, a lot of there's a lot of talks right now about gold, that it can go further, you know, north. And if we jump into a monthly chart, in general, you will see, yes, a good tendency that there could be some further upside. And look, these are the all-time highs so far. The one that we reached in August of 2020. Then we almost reached that level back in March of last year. And now it seems like we are, you know, heading towards, you know, a retest of this area. My only issue here is with, you know, higher levels is this little fact. Let me just, I jumped back into a daily because I think that it will be a little bit easier here. So my issue with that is this, because look, this is a downside line. And this downside line is drawn from the high of the 6th of August of 2020. So basically that peak. In a way, if we travel all the way towards this downside line, it's not really the 2070 territory or 75 here, the all-time high. No, it could be somewhere around the 66, maybe 67 zone, or 65 actually zone. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're, you know, however, this is the thing. So look, according, you know, in general, with applying this just technical analysis principles, I mean, we're going to get, if we do travel all the way higher here, we could get that test of the 2065 zone. And then the question is, can we actually break that? If this breaks, and let's say the monthly candle, the body of the monthly candle stays above this downside line, guys, well, guess what? This could be very interesting. We could go further north at some point, yeah. In general, I have a level in mind in there, and let me just put this on the chart. I think for that, I will jump back into weekly charts. I think this is going to be a little bit easier. But basically, if long term, from the long term perspective, if we clear up the oh, what's happening here? Why is it not showing? Okay, I need to fix this, guys. I mean, this is something that I don't like a little bit, but okay. Right, I don't know if it's going to be seen. Okay, this is, okay, not ideal, but look, in general, if we apply the Fibonacci extension on this one, on gold, on a weekly chart here, or monthly, whatever, you know, it's more convenient for you, but look, this, the way it's shaping up, the way it looks right now, of course, the 50% here is nicely sitting near that all-time high, the 2075 territory, which could be a good nice target. So basically, if we do travel higher, we could end up testing this area near that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci extension. But if that gets cleared, guys, this is where it could open the door towards the 61.8% retracement on the Fibonacci, and that's roughly around that 2180 zone, approximately around here. So 2180 could be our next target if we clear the 2075 zone. This is what I'm kind of looking at right now. Let's see if that's gonna be the case. But yeah, could be an interesting one. So yeah, long story short, let's not overcomplicate things here for now. At the moment, let's jump back into a daily chart. Let's continue observing the upper side of the rising channel here. But for that, in order to go higher, I need to see a clearance of the 2003 zone, or maybe even better, the 2010 territory. Now, another complicated issue I have here on gold is that, for example, if we do fall below the 1990 zone, maybe a bit of a correction here could be possible. So something like this could be ideal, to be honest. And let's say, for example, if we do drop lower, we test the lower side of the of this rising channel. We also test the 38.2 here on the Fibonacci extension around here. Beautiful rebound, push back up, and this is when we could, you know, travel higher. Yeah, it could be ideal, could be perfect. Of course, again, you know, this is a textbook scenario. But hey, of course, we have to understand that not everything happens as we want it to happen. So we just have to go from what we have. So yeah, jumping into silver, guys. This one's it's more bullish than bearish. Of course, silver in general is, so this arrow, this curved one, is working out nicely so far. But in general, what I said to you previously, that I'm looking at this little arrow, the 25.14 zone. If we clear that, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. So just can keep that in mind. My next target is then the 25.75 territory, marked by the inside swing low of the 18th of April of 2022. So let's keep that in mind. Oil, jumping into oil very quickly. Again, look, I talked a lot already, a million times about it. Well, a million, but it's a lot about this, and I'm still waiting for the same thing to happen. So I need to see clearance of this area in order to go higher. So look, you can check out my previous videos on this, but again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because so far it's not doing anything. However, it could present itself with a nice opportunity. We just need to see a clearance here of this area, of this territory, and then we could take it from there. Bitcoin, there we go. The crypto world, 30,000. Yeah, great. Everybody's, you know, the crypto bulls are very, very happy. And look, just yesterday, I talked about this, and I said, you know, watch this barrier, watch that 29,000 mark. I said, if we clear that, I will go towards that psychological 30 zone, or even further north. Well, so far, so good. We cleared this barrier, the 29,000 zone, and now the question here is, how far can we go? Can we go towards that 31, 32, 33? Well, in that case, to be honest, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this little target right here. There we go. Just There we go. So this is my next target, the area near in between the 32,380 and the 32,950. So approximately around there. This is going to be my next target for now. And then we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen further. Maybe it's going to go, you know, a little bit downside, back down, or something like that. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on DXY, especially tomorrow. So that will determine a lot on this crypto pair here, Bitcoin against the US dollar, USD. So yeah, let's like I said, let's wait and see what's going to happen. For now, I am more bullish than bearish. As long as we stay above the 29,000 mark. If we start falling back below it, I will start considering maybe some lower levels. But for that, I would like to see a drop below this upside line at least. And then I will consider a move lower. Ethereum, yes, of course. Look at my messy chart here. I talked about this last week basically, and I have drawn these three tentative lines. I said, look, keep an eye on this upside line first. If it holds, okay, great, we can use it. If it broke, so we cannot use it. This one held nicely so far. Well, look, in general, I would say this way. If you are looking for some higher levels and you missed out on this little rebound here, yes, you can still go in. However, I need to point out that, look, we have this obstacle. It's not like Bitcoin, because lately I've noticed, I mean, and you probably noticed yourselves that, crypto stopped moving altogether. Now they're slowly trying to behave like currencies. Of course, we already know that for a long time, that that they're trying to behave like currencies. So, and they're not really okay. Some of them are moving in tandem, but some actually do wait for some other news to come out. So yep. Ethereum, for example, yes, we're seeing some bullishness here. But we're seeing a hold up near that 1943 territory. So if we clear that, I'll go higher, because a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. Litecoin, guys, yes, clearance finally of the upper side of the range of that 94.75 territory. I spoke about that level. And yeah, great, we cleared it. So now what? If we stay above it, because look, this is only happening today. If we stay above this, yes, I'll go further north. If we travel back down below the 94.75, I'll get a false breakout, and this is going to be one of those breakouts. So that's why I will consider actually a move, maybe maybe back down or something like that. But again, at this point, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, but I need that. I need that daily candle to stay above that 94.75, and then I'll target the 98.33, and then maybe the 100 level, the psychological 100, or maybe above that. Dogecoin. Yeah, so this one's not moving. Of course, no major tweets out there yet, no major logo changes. So, for now, it's just kind of sitting there. It's going to be waiting, I think. Yeah, so these EMAs worked out perfectly. Now, as I mentioned here before, I said that if we continue to trade above this upside support line taken from the low the 10th of March, then yes, I will still aim for the upside. If we start breaking the upside line, then at the same time we would fall below all of the EMAs here, and then potentially this could open the door towards some lower territories. So just keep that in mind. AUDUSD. So jumping into a few pairs. Also, yes, AUDUSD. After breaking the lower side of the rising channel, the pair drifted lower, tested one of my targets, the 0.6625. My other target is the 0.6564. But as you can see here, the 0.6625 is acting as a good area of support. So if you're looking for some lower levels, guys, then basically a drop below this hurdle is required, and then I'll aim for the 0.6564, and then we'll take it from there. That's the current lowest point of March, and then we'll go from there. Look, it seems like the pair is trying to get back into the rising channel. If that's the case, if we do push back into the rising channel here, maybe the upside scenario is back on the table, and we could start aiming for something like this. So basically, this is the arrow that I'm going to draw here. I'm going to use. So if we do climb back and stay inside the rising channel. I'm aiming for the 50, the 100, and the 200-day EMA. AUDJPY, so far so good. Look, I talked about this idea of a kind of higher lows formation. Seems to be so far doing that. We're pushing back up. I said previously that if we get a hold up somewhere near this 88.55, maybe a bit of a decline here could be possible. Did we get a hold up? No. We cleared it and we're pushing now higher. Now at this point, I am going to be watching this short-term tentative downside resistance line, or actually maybe not a very tentative one, but it's a downside line here taken from the high of the 21st of February. Around here, we also have the 50-day EMA. If we clear all that, great, I will go to the upside and probably, no, well, not probably, I will actually aim for this territory first, the 90.23, and then we'll take it from there. So if we do push through the downside line and through this 50-day EMA, I will go to the upside, but only up until here. If we clear this area, great, I'll go further north. But at this point, yeah, I'm going to go slowly, step by step, and then, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. While we're sitting in this territory right here, I'm not touching this one. I'm just observing the price action. USDJPY. Okay, great. Look, mission accomplished. Short-term mission accomplished. What I said before, that if we push and stay above this 132.20 territory, my next target is the upper side of the range, where we're currently getting a hold of. Great. Tick, tick. Now the question here, can we get a clearance of this upper side of the range, this 133.55? Well, I would like to see that, of course. I would like to see that clearance here, but we also have I also have here the EMAs, and that's why I would actually maybe get a little bit more of a careful approach and maybe wait for, okay, I'll start considering, higher levels on a break of this 133.55, but I will be cautious around these EMAs, these two EMAs, the 100 and the 200, shown as the green and black lines respectively. If we cleared those, that's where it could become exciting, and we could start targeting the 135.11, 26 zone, or somewhere around here. This is in a way my good target that I am watching, this one right there. So this is going to be, like I said, my next target, and then we'll take it from there. In general, some of you might say, but hey, maybe we're forming a nice little double bottom here. Correct? You're not wrong there. It could be the case, but still, either way, the neckline, it needs to be broken, so we just have to wait. USDCAD, so there we go. Interesting. Good hold up near the 1.3537. So I talked about it. So yeah, in a way we reached it. So I said that if we push through it and stay above it, I will go higher. Did we push through it? Yes. Did we stay above it? No. So we drifted back to the downside. Doesn't say, I'm not saying that I'm becoming bearish or something. No, I will be waiting for the data, for the CPI data first, to see what's going to happen here on USDCAD and which way we're going to break out here. But yeah, if we do suddenly pop above the 1.3537 territory, I will go to the upside. And also, of course, I need to see the body of the daily candle staying above this territory in order to go towards a larger correction to the upside. Because again, the reason why I'm saying is correction, because we're still below this downside line, although tentative, of course, don't get me wrong. This downside line is taken from the high of the 10th of March, so any move up until there could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, so keep that in mind. For the downside, as I said, I'm taking a very conservative approach. 1.3415. I need to see a drop below it because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low. US dollar against the Chinese yuan, offshore one. So this one's quite interesting. Look, okay, inflation came out lower. We're not seeing much strength, of course, in the Chinese yuan, but also not much weakness. So look, I think that the technicals here are working out perfectly. I spoke about this previously. I said that until we're oscillating around around these EMAs, I'm not really touching this one. Yes, great. It's still trading above the upside line taken from the low of the 2nd of February. So that's wonderful. But we're still below this key resistance barrier, which I'll mark in a bit. This one right here. So this is our resistance barrier, somewhere around the 6.91 zone right here. If we clear that one, great. I will go higher. I'll get more excited with the upside, and then I'll start targeting my 7 yuan level. If we break the upside line and fall below the 6.84 territory, I will get a little bit more excited with the downside. So something like this could be possible. So the reason I have my arrows drawn like this, because in general I will be aiming, if we do break below this hurdle, I will be aiming for the lowest point of March first, and then we will take it from there, guys. If we clear that one, great. I will go further south towards these towards the 6.77 zone, or even below that. So simple, slowly. GBPUSD, guys. So GBPUSD is very interesting. So we're still below the upper side of the range, which we broke last week. I thought kind of we were going to stay above it, but okay, we're struggling with that, it seems. So in a way, I think that the bearishness is kicking in here, and yeah, it's quite understandable. Let's see how the CPI data is going to come out, because look, for now, from the short-term perspective, it seems like we're trading above the subside line somewhere around here. In order to go lower, I think that this time, yeah, break of the subside line is required. Look, as long as we stay below the upper side of the range here, there is still a tendency that we could go lower, but I would like to see a clear break through this upside line in order to consider a move maybe towards that 50-day EMA. For the upside, I would like to see a push back above the 1.2444 territory here. If we stay above it, then yes, I will go further north. Of course, I will be carefully monitoring my highest point of April, the current highest point of April, near the 1.2525 territory. If that gets cleared, wonderful. A forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. GBPNZD. So look, not going to talk too much. I spoke about this already several times, and I'm watching this nice rising wedge pattern here, which according to all the TA rules tends to be a bearish indication. But for that to happen, a break of the lower side of the wedge of the formation would be needed. So until then, it could easily travel higher. And look, this is what I have drawn yesterday. So basically, let's say if this upper side of the rising wedge continues to hold, maybe a bit of a retracement like that could be possible. We could drift lower. We could test this upside line, taken from the lower side of the rising wedge, basically. And then maybe rebound and push back up. But again, we're currently near the upper side. I'm just keeping an eye on it. If it continues to provide resistance, maybe, like I said, then I will start considering this curved scenario. But of course, if it drops lower and then starts violating the lower side of the rising wedge, then this, of course, could lead to some lower levels. GBPCAD. So this one's a little bit more interesting, I think. Or actually, no, actually they're both interesting. This one's also interesting because why? Because this one looks a little bit more bullish than bearish. And of course, if oil strengthens, then forget about the bullishness here. We could see GBPCAD falling off the cliff because the Canadian dollar was strengthened. But if oil, where's that oil? If oil somehow drifts back down, yes, this could be a perfect cue for GBPCAD bulls to step in, and we could go higher. However, I will apply my logic here, and I'm going to stick to this territory right there. The 1.6852, 51, approximately around there. Basically this territory right here. This whole zone, this whole resistance area, this one right here, is something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. If we clear it, great. I will confirm a forthcoming. This will confirm a forthcoming higher high and potentially could attract more buyers into the game, and then we could start targeting maybe the area here, the 1.7378. Certainly, we do have some lower levels until then, like for example the 1.7132. And then we'll take it from there, guys. I mean, yes, let's not rush into anything. Let's first see that move. If we get that move, great, I will go higher here. Of course, before that, the psychological 170 territory is in the way. which could be a nice good target. So just keep that in mind. Now, in terms of the downside, well, we can draw a bunch of upside lines here. Like one of them is this one. The other one could be, let's say, oh, actually not here. This one and this one, the steeper one. So yeah, this could be a nice good line as well. Or if you want to capture this one, then you'll see that you have this upside line here, and we're currently resting on it. But the thing is that I want to get rid of this, and because again, it's also a tentative one. They're all tentative, don't get me wrong. But the one that I really like is actually this one right here. Look, if you want to go for lower levels, I think that a break of this upside line would be ideal. Until then, yes, it could still be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. So that this whole area right there is something that I'm just observing, observing and not really doing anything. But if we start breaking this upside line, we could also start breaking this little hurdle here, the 1.6580 zone, I think roughly around here. Nope, this one right there. There we go, 1.6581. If we clear that one, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with lower levels. Just put an arrow here, and then I'll target the 200-day EMA. EURNOK, the reason why I'm picking up on this one, because we got some data from Norway. So EURNOK, the CPI numbers came out year on year, higher than expected and higher than the previous. So the previous one was 6.3, the expected 6.1, 6.5 is the actual. Okay, yes, we're seeing a bit of strength here in the NOK, Norwegian krone. Look, I talked about this previously. I've mentioned about this upside line here. Also, I talked about, you can see my chart is skewed here. My arrows are moved, have shifted already. What I said before, look, I was keeping an eye on this little hurdle here, but I think I'll redo that in a bit. Yeah, I think this is the better area. Look, for the upside, the same scenario is still valid. For the upside, it's then I'm looking at this one, 11.48 zone. I need to see a strong push above it, and I would like to see the pair staying above this in order to go further north. For the downside, I think it's better to mark this little territory, and the reason why, somewhere around here, yep, this 11.35, approximately around here. Because the reason why I'm saying that it's better to mark that one, because look, maybe we're actually in a little range. And this is almost the midpoint of that range. So whenever we cross the midpoint of the range, there is a good chance we could see, a move towards the other side of the range. So basically, in this case, if we fall below this midpoint, if we break below this, then there is a good chance we could see a retest of first of all, the 50-day EMA, and then the lower side of this range, and then we'll take it from there. But if we continue to trade here, this, of course, keeps the upside scenario on the table, but a confirmation break is required of this 11.48 zone in order to go further north. EURJPY, also something interesting that I haven't looked for quite a while, to be honest. And look, I mean, I was waiting for this one to give me something, and so it seems it could be this territory right there. This area right here, watching this carefully, and yes, if we clear this territory right here, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could start aiming for higher levels. We could start aiming for something around here. But of course, yes, as I said, a confirmation break is needed, and not only a break, I would like to see also the pair staying above this, the body of the daily candle staying above this territory in order to increase the chances for a push higher. In terms of the downside, of course, a bunch of upside lines are needed here to mark the trend here to the short-term trend to the upside, something like this. Yes, look, if we do break this upside line, this could open door towards the EMAs here on my chart, the 50, the 100, and maybe the 200, and then we'll take it from there. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So yeah, look, I talked about this, and This upside line no longer needed. I think that we'll stick to the rising veg idea. I do like rising wedges or falling wedges. Actually, all wedges I like. Yeah, eat your wedges, guys. Secret message there. Yeah, so look, I like these patterns because they tend to do what they actually supposed to do. At this point, look, we fell below the 1.0776. Actually, this level doesn't work anymore. I think we need to adjust this. I think that the better option here is to wait for a clearance of the lower side of the rising wedge in order to go lower. But for the upside, if we do suddenly start pushing above this 1.0930 territory again, I will get a little bit more excited and I'll go towards the upper side of the this rising wedge pattern. So let's see how this is going to play out, of course. But at this point, we're closer to the lower side of it. Let's see if we can break it. If we break this, I will go towards the 50-day EMA first. We do have these bunch of these levels here on the way lower. Good potential targets. You can consider those. But ideally, I would like to see a test of the 50-day EMA. Of course, the market doesn't always give me what I want, but you know, if we do start dropping lower, for example, we reach this territory, the 1.0788, and we are very close to my 50-day EMA and we don't reach it, that's fine. It's a good result. We still take it as a success because we never aim for the exact perfect touch. We always aim for the area around our target. If let's say you have something set up, if you see that it's going there but just like struggling to kind of reach it, take your profits. Great, wonderful, you're doing good, and this is how it's done. Enjoy your profits, guys. So okay, guys, look, that's kind of it for euro dollar. There's not much to say anymore here because the main event is going to happen tomorrow. I'll pick up on that tomorrow in my morning video. But yeah, guys, look, if you found this useful, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. I really, like I said, I really hope you found this useful. But yeah, thank you. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Daily Pitch International, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. So I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock GMT time, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.